What's up, everyone? Thralls here once again. I'm Necrotic Nick.
I'm Jammin John.
And we have an album review for you. And this one is a little weird and a little fun. Actually, no, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
It was a whole lot of fun, actually.
We're going to go over the debut album from Becerus, or Becerus. I'm really not sure how to pronounce that, but it's Becerus. And their debut album, Homo Homini Brutus. This comes out on the 30th of April on Everlasting Spew Records. And in terms of the background of this, I kind of had to reach around and see if I could figure out stuff in terms of timelines. They definitely formed before June 2020 because that's when they entered the studio for this.
Sure, right?
And this is their debut album. They are from Italy, and this is caveman metal. This is pure, unadulterated caveman metal, and there are no lyrics. None. If there are any sort of words that you think you are hearing while listening to this, you aren't.
You're just hearing caveman grunts.
And apparently the guy on the cover, that's their mascot. His name is Becer, or Besser. I don't know. There really wasn't any accent on it, but that's the guy, and he might as well be the one growling on this, because they took pride in this. Like, this is kind of a thing that's like a big advertising thing on this. There are no lyrics. They don't bother with it, and it's more about the vocal cadences, and it works. It really works.
It really does
It
work.
does.
I was surprised how much I liked this album. It's actually really good.
And their whole style is basically 90s death metal. They love 90s death metal.
You could have told me they were from Florida and I would have believed you. It's very Floridian death metal.
With more modern production, but yeah, like this sounds like this could have come out in 1991 in Tampa. And Barnes or Corpse Grinder, kind of almost a hybrid of the two, could have been on vocals. Barnes Grinder. No, that's a horrible thought. I don't want that. But it's really interesting just because the entire time I was listening to this, I was like, this could almost be words. But why am I trying to figure out their words? Maybe it's because there's titles to the songs?
It sounds like there could be words, and in fact, the vocal cadences of this guy grunting sound like there might be words. And the vocal cadence here sounds a lot better than most vocalists that say words.
Yeah, the intonation is interesting. I don't know, like this is kind of confusing, but I thoroughly enjoy this because, again, it is so 90s death metal. Once you get past the intro, Foggy Dimension, which sounds like Godflesh wrote the intro to Thriller, it's appropriately weird, and it does sound like something that would be on a 90s death metal album. You get down to Primeval Ignorantia. I don't know anything about that species, but Cannibal Corpse. Like, Cannibal Corpse chugs Suffocation
meets like a grind band.
Oh.
It's a grindy corpse.
There are spots that are kind of grindy, like out of nowhere, these ferocious blast beats will come, but this is definitely very groove laden. Like I definitely caught myself in that sort of obituary bolt thrower kind of groove.
Yeah.
The riffs are tight.
And they're all over, dude.
Oh
this
my
whole
God.
album is Riff City.
It's disgusting. And I gotta say, the production on here is really tight. Like, it's definitely more modern production, but it's really good. The snare sounds like machine gun fire when he's blasting. Like, it is a tight snap. The guitars are thick and chunky. They're kind of like almost thrashy a little bit. Like, think like Deicide or like Vader. And man, like, it's just intense. This is a no bullshit album.
The track Circular Deficiency, I don't want to say this is even where the record started getting good because I really liked all the songs. But this is where I started starring songs. It sounds like Eric Rutan wrote riffs for this album. Most notably in this song. I was thankful that the snare didn't ring.
And that triplet chug at the end. A flurry of just brutality.
And there's actual death growls. They're not, again, while they're not words, he's not pig squealing either.
No.
Like, they're really, again, sounds like Corpse Grinder.
Yeah, the fast vocal cadences especially. This one and Latent Primordium, they both do something kind of interesting. There's like this echoed cough, laugh, grunt. I don't know, it pops up a couple of other times in the album, but those are the two that I really picked out that it's just, I don't know, it sounds like he's coughing and laughing like he took too big of a rip from a giant bong, a caveman bong. They had them, I'm sure.
Cave bong?
Cave bong. Either way, it sounds like he took a big rip and he's coughing his ass off, but he's kind of laughing about it. It's a weird album, but I love it. It's almost, I don't know, is it a troll? It's almost kind of a troll.
I don't know. I mean, I guess kind of because he's not saying words, because they openly came out and said caveman metal.
Yeah, no lyrics. And I mean, caveman metal is kind of a thing in terms of like really stripped down old school death metal, like bands like Torture Rack. Torture Rack are proudly caveman metal, but there are actually lyrics to it.
Right, so maybe it's a vocal troll, but the rest is on point because the musicianship's solid.
Yeah, I don't know if they're like trying to prove the point that you don't really need lyrics, you just need a fun cadence that goes along with the music. Yeah. I don't think that's the mission statement. I just think they're like, screw it, we don't want lyrics, we're just gonna grunt.
Like the song Ballardicus.
Ballardicus?
Ballardicus? I'm not sure that's how you say it, but Ballardicus. That song is heavier than nuts. It's got that suffocation, sour lemon face opener riff, just heavy as shit. Stomper riff almost.
I got like Dying Fetus on that, like it almost like kind of more brutal death sound.
I said Dying Fetus at the beginning, and then I crossed it out and put Suffocation because that breakdown at the end sounds suffocation-y, but it's the same riff as what's in the beginning. So
yeah, and that's the thing on here too. Like these songs are short. This whole album is short. Like the longest track on here is like 3 minutes and 24 seconds. So generally, when it came down to the arrangement, like it's just, one solid riff, then a nice little bridge moment, and then they generally kind of bookend that opening moment. That kind of popped up on quite a few songs in here, and it's simple, but it's effective, because there aren't a ton of different parts to remember on here, and they're bullet training songs. There are no intros outside of the intro on here, like there's no real, like, atmospheric stuff in there to really...
Except the end.
Yeah, except for the end, that's about it. But yeah, it's just... one after the other, and every song is a beatdown with just a sort of variety of speeds at which they're punching you in the face. Or they're caveman, they're hitting you with like a big bone. Something. Makeshift bone. Club.
Get water, grr.
Another cool thing I like about this is the lead work. They actually took the time to throw in really cool leads. Now, granted, they are short. There are occasional ones that are a little bit longer, and generally they're really good. Like, they're very shreddy, very squealy, but they're tasteful.
Yeah, like even the ones that you could almost consider as like noodly.
Yeah.
They're still it really plays well over top of the riff. Like in Hymn to Ungainly Corpulence, the lead over the breakdown is really neat.
That one... Actually, I really like the vocal work on that one just because he was doing the fast corpse grinder thing, and I actually wrote down caveman corpse grinder, which honestly, you just have to put him in a caveman outfit, and I think you're pretty close already. Marginal Presence also had like a really solid lead on there, and then towards the end, because they do again that sort of opening riff, and then they sort of bookend it towards the end, they throw on a very death-like harmony at the end.
Yeah, dude.
Which melody is kind of sparing, but it's there. And again, these aren't like pretty melodies. These are death metal melodies. So melodies for us. Not for
not
people,
for normal people that think of melody as
something pretty.
Something nice. Yeah, there's nothing pretty about this.
No, we like unpleasant melodies. And these guys have some that kind of, are pockmarked in there. Leighton Primordium actually has like a really cool tremolo riff at the end that is more like Morbid Angel-y. And occasionally you do get like some of the Trey-ish solos in there where they're just squealy dive bombs, but they're very intricate. And as far as tight musicianship, well, drum work?
Dude, the drum work is nuts. Again, for 2 and 3 minute songs, like this guy's all over the map. There's a lot of blasting, but there's a lot of groove too. And the groove that he plays is simple in the fact that it's pretty straightforward. Like, it's not a real over-the-top groove. It's kind of like he hits in the pocket sometimes.
Yeah.
And it really drives the song home. He accents everything. There's little pops and dings and splashes. Like, nobody in this band is a slouch.
No.
I was expecting something very different.
I don't know what I expected, but the only thing I kept homing on was there was no lyrics. I was like, all right, that's already interesting. And I like the idea of caveman metal because I just wanted to hear something brutal and sort of knuckle dragging. And this album drags some serious knuckles.
Yeah, dude, I can't. When tours come back, I can't wait. I hope these guys come to the U.S. Probably not, but I hope these guys come to the U.S.
I mean, the only thing I could really knock it on is it's derivative, but I didn't give a shit because it was fun.
Yeah, yep.
And maybe the outro towards the end on Bifoclus? I don't know how to say that. It's a little long, and it kind of cuts off, and that song was really good, much like every song on here, and I kind of just wanted more song before this outro came out. But this is short, not so sweet. In fact, it's not sweet at all. It hates you, and it wants to beat you over the head with a club. But I love it. And I don't know, it reminded me a lot of the first time I heard death metal.
Yep.
And you know what? All those grunts made about the same amount of sense as these grunts, and these guys aren't saying shit. So, I don't know. It just has that early charm, and I love it. I don't know. It's just
like
pure fun.
Some nostalgia there. Yeah.
So overall, I'm going to give this 4 stars. This is ridiculous in every right way. I love it. It's knuckle dragging. It's riff city. It just punches you in the face repeatedly. There are no breaks in this. This is full tilt boogie pretty much the entire time. And God, man, if you love 90s death metal, Jesus, get this. It's awesome.
Yep. I'm also going to give it 4 stars. I had a really good time. Again, I didn't really know what to expect coming into this. I thought death metal with no lyrics, caveman vocals. Like I just thought, like, well, that's going to be weird. But the musicianship is solid. These guys are on point, and they're all about heft. There's so much heft in these songs for being as short as they are. Like Nick's right. It was just one beat down after another. We both kept looking at each other like, really? like because it sounds like there could be vocals if they were spoken in another language.
Maybe.
But yeah.
I mean, it was weird. Like the entire time he was doing his grunts, I was trying to see if I could pick out something that sounded like a word. And I mean, I did, but I know it's not there. So it's ridiculous for me to even do that.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool.
I love it.
I want to see more of this. Like I wish the songs were longer.
Yeah.
Maybe this will be like a quick EP full length thing, and I don't know. I want to see more.
It's not very long, but it makes up for that with just being intense as hell and fun. And yeah, if you love death metal, get it. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe because we do stuff like this all the time. We are also on Patreon, so if you'd like to support us there, there's a link below in the description. Jump on there. We are throwing on podcasts, outtakes, all sorts of random stuff on there, and we're going to start putting on more here soon. And if you'd just like to help us out there, we would much appreciate it. Make him happy. So with that, I thank you all very much for watching, and we will catch you later.